Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank all of our witnesses today. And I also want to just underscore the preface that our colleague Senator Romney gave to his questioning. I like the way he described it. Sometimes we come to perform, sometimes we come to be informed. And I guess I would just speculate a little bit beyond that if there were to be a true tit for tat on the performance angle. There's any number of areas we could go. I reflect on proposals for ultraviolet light and drinking bleach and drinking hydroxychloroquine. We could go there, but it's not constructive. And so I'm going to be constructive in my questions, and I just urge my colleagues to do that. We're all in this together, and we have a duty to act responsibly in that fashion. And again, thank you to our witnesses. Dr. Walensky, I'm going to start with you on a topic that I bring up frequently when you're in our presence, and that is the tools we have now to sequence, do genomic sequences to better understand variants, to better track variants. I know that there's been much investment in that. I'd like to hear what tools that we have in place now that we didn't before, and what you see the future of this genomic sequencing is, especially as this committee looks at pandemic preparation for future potential pandemics.
Thank you, Senator Baldwin, and for your championing our ability to ramp up our genomic sequencing efforts. And the resources from the American Rescue Plan, $1.7 billion, really did allow us to detect Omicron swiftly. So maybe I'll just tell you the story of what happened with Omicron, and that is we heard about this variant that was coming from South Africa, and we didn't know if it was here yet. But we did know it had this unique footprint of the S gene target failure on PCR. So what we did immediately after hearing about this is to enhance surveillance for this footprint and do enhanced sequencing so that any sequence that had this footprint, I shouldn't say any, many sequences that had this footprint, we were specifically looking for this Omicron variant. Within days, we found it. So within 3 days, I think, that we started doing this enhanced surveillance, and then within days, we had, 10s, 40s. By about 4 days later, by December 5th is when we started detecting it in our background genomic sequencing. So that background genomic sequencing now does tens of thousands of sequences a week. It's a collaboration with academic partners, industry, commercial labs, CDC labs, public health partners to do tens of thousands of sequences a week. And what we do is we look at the number of cases that are out there, and our goal is to detect a variant that is present at 0.1% with 99% confidence, so that we see the menu of the variants that are out there. We are enthusiastic about this program. We are intending to ramp up this program for potentially other viruses, the potential to do so there, for other foodborne outbreaks, as well as for wastewater investigation. We have the capacity to do that there as well. So again, thank you for championing this effort, which truly did allow us to detect Omicron in real record speed. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Assistant Secretary O'Connell, when we last met at this committee, I asked you for a commitment that a significant portion of the $10 billion for the Defense Production Act funding that I helped secure as part of the American Rescue Plan be invested in the raw materials needed to make N95 masks here in America. The alarming spread of Omicron has made the need for N95s even more clear. And yet, ASPR has not spent any of this American Rescue Plan funding on the raw material needed to make N95s in America, while it has invested $3.1 billion on other priorities, primarily using prior supplemental funding. The FDA reports now that 60% of the KN95 masks that are being imported from China are fake. and Americans still can't go to a local pharmacy and purchase an American-made N95. So President Biden has now personally urged Americans to upgrade the quality of the masks they wear. I want to know when the American people will be able to buy an American-made N95 mask that they know will protect them, and when we can expect ASPR to invest the American Rescue Plan funding into the raw materials necessary.
Senator Baldwin, thank you for that question. You can buy an N95 mask manufactured in America now. We have 737 million of those in the Strategic National Stockpile. We are also in the process this month, we hope, to award, or next month, as contracts go, to award an agreement for warm base manufacturing of N95 masks. What we're asking the vendors to return to us as part of the proposal is their ability to manufacture 141 million masks a month at a surge capacity, and to be able to maintain that manufacturing at a 20 to 30% rate in times where demand is not as high. So we are very invested in N95 masks being made available, and we'll continue to look, and I appreciate your support in getting us the American Rescue Plan dollars that we're currently investing, and we'll continue to look at the right ways to invest that, and have really appreciated the conversations you and I have had around that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the witnesses have been here well over 2.5 hours. We are going to have a second round of questions.